All right, ladies and gents, let me plug the joint. The hidden reason most men are insecure about sex and don't even realize it. And what I'm going to reveal to you gentlemen today, and even some of the ladies, is just how insecure most guys really are, right? Off of the internet, but especially on the internet, because a lot of times guys can fake it. They can hide what they really got going on. They can hide on the internet, right? And here's the thing, and I've said this, a lot of you guys, your favorite YouTubers, you know, the guys that make all the popular clips and shit that you like, most of those guys are insecure as hell. In fact, I would say the majority of guys who call themselves giving dating advice, um, advice related to scoring casual sex, if you will, or even relationship or marriage type of advice. A lot of these guys are insecure. Just listen to their talking points, listen to how they talk. The hidden reason most men are insecure about sex and don't even realize it. And what I find funny is that in this particular space, this isn't talked about enough about the fact that men are indeed very much insecure and how it's actually hindering men having success in dating. And it's a fact, it is a well known fact that if you're insecure, you're going to have difficulties dating. I don't care if you're a man or a woman, you're going to have challenges. The hidden reason why most men are insecure about sex. And I've said this, and I'm gonna keep saying it. Most of men's insecurities revolve around sex, directly or indirectly. Now, some of you may have been wondering for a while when Zach says directly or indirectly, what exactly does he mean by that? And I'm gonna break it down to you. Exactly. We're gonna categorize it. We're gonna categorize how most men, period, worldwide, whether they're on the internet or not, but especially a lot of these content creators you guys watch, right? That swear they know what they're doing when it comes to women. Most of these guys are insecure as hell. So when I break this shit down and I put it into the direct category versus the indirect category, you're gonna see how most of you are very much insecure, very much so. And it's hindering you. And let me just say this, and shout out to my client who actually requested this video or this topic. He requested it. So shout out to him. Right. And he's been on the Patreon, but he's also done some consultations away from the Patreon, independent of the Patreon. So shout out to him. And he's struggling with his insecurities. He's struggling with the way that he views sex. He's struggling with um, seeking validation from women through sex. Now, what I just said, seeking validation from women through sex. Only insecure men do that, or males. You're seeking validation through sex. You're constantly trying to have sex with women, not for the sheer enjoyment of the sex, but you're searching for some type of emotional upliftment or validation through this sex. And what you're looking for is an ego boost. You're looking for a woman to tell you how great you are sexually. And somehow, some way, that gives guys this weird type of emotional boost because a woman stroked their ego about how great they are in bed. And let me tell you, again, a lot of insecure guys do that. It's important to them to try and be the best in bed ever. Why? Because they want that woman's validation. And what makes the validation really important is the woman's desire to want to be fucked again and again by that guy. Like a lot of guys, when they fuck a chick once and she don't want to fuck them no more, their ego takes a hit. I must not have been good enough. A lot of guys, their manhood is attached to their dick or their bank account. Oh, we're gonna get into all of that shit. Right? Again, most of men's insecurities revolve around sex, directly or indirectly. And what I want to do is I want to highlight all of these different things because I want you guys to understand where your shortcomings are and where you fail as men, right? Here's the thing about sex. In the grand scheme of life, with all the different shit that we got going on in life, sex is a small blip on the fucking radar to a real fucking man. To a real man that got shit going on, sex is a small blip on the radar. For you insecure motherfuckers, you make sex your universe. You make securing sex from women you are attracted to everything. You make it your everything. And you wonder why you go on this emotional roller coaster seeking validation from women via sex. The hidden reason most men are insecure about sex and don't even realize it. So let's go ahead and break it down. Right? And remember I said this right there. Remember I said that shit. So when we talk about direct sexual insecurity, right? I'm gonna show you what it looks like. And for a lot of you, when we talk about sexual insecurities, a lot of you have one or more of these things going on. And let me just tell you this, if you have two or more of these things going on, you're gonna struggle. You're gonna struggle a lot, right? Direct sexual insecurity, right? So this is the obvious surface level, where men kind of knows his fears, right? And he also knows that his doubts revolve around sex, right? So direct, this is where you're directly insecure and you know you're insecure, right? Where you now, when I say indirect, that means you don't realize it, right? But when I talk about direct, you know you're insecure. And maybe you're trying to cope, maybe you're not really facing it head on and you're making excuses, but you need to deal with it, right? So, direct sexual insecurities, performance anxiety, worrying about lasting long enough, worrying about satisfying a woman. Again, for a man, sex is but a small blip on the radar. I'm not concerned with sexually satisfying a woman. I'm not concerned with that. Number one, I know what I'm doing, but be that as it may, even if the woman isn't feeling me, although I know what I'm doing, if she ain't feeling me, if there's not a good sexual connection there or sexual compatibility or chemistry, I'm not mad at that. I don't feel less than. I don't feel like I'm undesirable because a woman wanted to have sex with me once and didn't want to do it again. I don't think nothing of it. It don't cross my mind as to what her reasoning could be. I could care less. Shorty don't want to fuck with me again. Cool. I'll move on to the next broad. When you're secure, this is how you think, right? So let's move on. Again, direct sexual insecurity. Comparing yourself to other men. Oh, this is a big one. Oh, all you see is this happening on our live streams. Comparing yourself to other men. Size, stamina, and sexual skill. Comparing yourself to other men. But guys comparing themselves with other men, it isn't just sexual. Money, height, looks, material possessions, fame, status, everything. Any guy who compares himself to other men or he sizes other men up as far as the type of women that both he and that man are into, these guys are insecure as hell. They're always looking at other men and saying, I don't quite measure up. I'm not as tall. I'm not as muscular. I don't dress as fly. My jewelry don't sparkle like his, right? All that kind of goofy ass homoerotic shit that guys do on the internet, comparing themselves to men. These are insecure guys. And unfortunately, a lot of you guys take dating advice from guys who do this. Why would you take dating advice from a man who has heteroflexible tendencies where he's a little homoerotic in his comparison to other men? Right? Let me move on. Again, direct sexual insecurity, fear of rejection, interpreting sexual rejection as proof of being inadequate or unattractive. When guys get rejected, that's tied into sexual desire. Oh, he doesn't want my dick. I feel inadequate. I feel unattractive because this strange random woman whom I don't know told me no. Only insecure guys are emotionally attached to a woman telling them no, right? The next one, needing sexual validation. Again, needing sexual validation. See, there's nothing wrong with desiring sex. That's normal. It's normal for men and women to desire sex. We get horny. We want to fuck. That's normal. That occurs in nature. That occurs in us naturally. Right? But when you're seeking or needing sexual validation, that's not natural. You have issues. Right? So when we say a needing sexual validation, feeling masculine only when a woman desires you. Let me say that shit again. You only feel masculine when a woman desires you. So everything about your life, your manhood, everything that's important to you, your pride, your ego is tied to pussy. It's tied to a woman letting you fuck her, right? What kind of miserable existence are a lot of you guys living? It must be sad, right? I mean, I can't relate though, right? So let's move on. Again, direct sexual insecurity, right? So, in short, guys, I want you guys to understand this. Direct insecurity is about how he shows up sexually and how he fears being judged for it. So, ladies, for all these guys, that's what it is. They're worried about the size of their joint. They're worried about not being sexually experienced enough. And all of these things come from being insecure, right? And you don't, just because you don't have sexual experience doesn't mean you're going to be insecure. I was not insecure sexually because of my lack of experience prior to me having sex for the first time. I was never insecure about that, even though I never had sex before. I was never insecure about that. So the fact that you guys, or some of you guys who are insecure about that, that's a choice. You're making a choice to be insecure, right? So let's move on, right? And this is where we start to hit what a lot of you guys think, or what's going on with a lot of you guys as it relates to insecurities. Again, the hidden reason most men are insecure about sex and don't even realize it, right? Again, indirect sexual insecurity, right? Now, this is deeper and more subtle. This kind most men don't consciously realize they have. It shows up when sex, or the ability to get sex, becomes the measure of a man's worth. I would also say that high value man nonsense, and shout out to KS. I'm not saying the man didn't have valid points about other topics, but when it came to that high value man shit, that shit did a number on a bunch of insecure guys with money. And we're gonna get into that right now. Insecure guys with money. Kevin Samuels came through and said, "For all my educated lanes with money, I I christen you the high value men with no sex appeal." And guys with no sex appeal are the guys who are the most insecure when it comes to sex. The hidden reason most men are insecure about sex and don't even realize it. What are we talking about now? Indirect sexual insecurity. The examples include chasing money, status, or muscles. Not for personal fulfillment, but because he believes they will make him more sexually desirable to women. You are indirectly sexually insecure if you're chasing money, status, and muscles. Period. That's you. If you're not doing it for personal fulfillment, and if you're doing it with the motivation of getting bitches, you're insecure, right? Next up, resenting women's standards. Oh, this is a big one on the internet. Mm. Guys are always complaining about women. See, I don't give a fuck about women wanting 6 foot plus dudes. I fuck plenty of chicks, and I'm not 6 foot plus. I don't complain about women wanting niggas with money, right? I fuck plenty of chicks when I was broke. I ain't broke now, but when I was, never had no problems. So women's standards, quote unquote, was never a hindrance to my dating success. It never hindered me from having a very, very pleasurable, memorable dating life that's still ongoing to this day, right? Never bothered me at all, right? Because I'm not insecure, right? So, boom, again, resenting women's standards, feeling angry or defensive when women aren't sexually interested, as if it's an attack on your manhood. Yeah, a lot of guys they get upset. You feel like your ego, like your pride took a hit, right? You feel like a woman is attacking your manhood because she has standards. Oh, fuck you, bitch. You want to do that 6 foot plus? That's why you're overweight. See, guys who talk like that, those guys are, you guessed it, sexually insecure. Let's move on. Overcompensating through ego or dominance, using bravado to mask deep fears of not being wanted. So, what this might look like is guys, they'll say shit like, just pump them and dump them. Don't date women seriously ever. Just have fun with them, right? They're all for the streets. Just, it's a woman is never yours. It's your turn, right? Or never get married or never date a single mother, right? Guys who talk like this, the very women they tell you guys not to date, these are the very women that they themselves are attracted to, but they've been rejected. They've been told no. They've been told hell no. So now they get on the internet because they have this angst, this vitriol, this axe to grind with women, and then they talk shit about women. But they're really projecting their own insecurities, right? Next one up, equating rejection with emasculation. And I hear a lot about this where guys say, "Oh, women want to emasculate you. Women want to treat you less than a man." Well, a woman can't treat you less than a man, right? It's all relative to how you think about what's going on. Yeah, can a woman be rude? Can a woman be disrespectful? But a woman technically cannot treat you less than a man, right? It's your choice to feel like that's what's happening, right? And the reason why you feel like a woman can treat you less than a man is because you got her up here on a pedestal looking up at her. That's why you feel like she can treat you less than. Because the only person that can treat you less than is somebody that's higher than you, right? Moving on, right? And again, believing that if a woman doesn't want him, he's less of a man. A lot of guys, this is how they feel about women and sex. It's not about the sex, guys. The hidden reason most men are insecure about sex and don't even realize it. It's not about the sex, it's deeper than that, right? Now, again, this kind of insecurity isn't about sex itself, but about what sex represents: validation, power, acceptance, and proof of masculinity. Right there in a nutshell. That's what's going on with a lot of sexually frustrated, lonely, bitter guys. Again, what are we talking about? We're talking about sexual insecurity when it's indirect, when guys, in many cases, don't even realize they're insecure. They're just doing, oh, you want to get girls? Do this. You want to get girls? Do that. And what they don't realize is that you have insecure guys giving you advice on what they think you should do because that's what they were told to do by other insecure guys. Because they saw some muscular dude talking to a bunch of pretty women and they say, I got to go do that. And what they don't realize is they don't know anything about that guy. They don't know why those women are talking to him. All they know is these attractive women are giving this muscular guy a lot of attention. And that's what they want. Why? Acceptance and validation. And for them, it makes them feel like a man, but you're not. You're not. Men are secure within themselves. Men are secure with who they are. Men are proud of who they are. Men don't try and hide who they are. Men don't try and put looks, money, status, or material possessions in front of them to make them feel good about themselves. Only insecure males do that. Now, let me just say this real quick, guys. I want guys to understand something, right? And this is the core truth, right? I'm about to finish it up with this. The hidden reason most men are insecure about sex and don't even realize it. This is the core truth, right? If women desire me, I'm valuable. If they don't, I'm not. That's the insecure guy's motto. If women desire me, I'm valuable. If they don't, I'm not. The belief makes a man's ego fragile because his identity depends on external approval, women's attraction, attention, or validation, rather than on eternal or internal security, rather. Internal security. Being confident is, I don't need everybody to like me, and I'll be fine if they don't. That's true confidence. I don't need everybody to like me, and I'll be fine when it comes to the ones who don't. For a lot of you guys, you're not fine. For whatever reason, you need that particular woman or this particular woman to say yes to you. The hidden reason why most men are insecure about sex and don't even realize it. Guys, a lot of this stuff on the internet, all it does, it takes you down the rabbit hole of despair. Further and further down the rabbit hole of despair, where you keep trying to accumulate things and perform for women. And I talked about this in a previous video. You have too many guys, even that whole high value man nonsense. It's a performance. Let me accumulate these accolades. Let me get to a point where I'm financially successful so I can show women, right, that I have value because I've accomplished these things. You're performing for women. Only insecure men do that. That's it. See, when a secure man, when a confident man has a conversation with a woman, he lets his presence, he lets the essence of his identity and the essence of his manhood, he let that shit speak for him. It's not about the car in the parking lot. It's not about the home he lays his head in. It's not about the zeros and the commas in his bank account. It's about the man that he's presenting to the woman. Like, share, and subscribe. I'm gonna holler at y'all. Peace.